Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm glad to be here today. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm a candidate for governor. I'm the county executive of Allegheny County, and I'm excited about running for governor because of our track record here in Allegheny County. I've just finished 6 years of being the county executive of the second largest county, Pennsylvania. And 6 years ago, we were on our backs. The city was filing for bankruptcy, largest Act 47 city in the state. Our largest private employer took their planes and their jobs out of our airport, and the county was on the verge of bankruptcy. We had a $30 million deficit with $17 million cash on hand. That was 6 years ago. Today, we've been on the front page of the New York Times 3 times as the one bright spot in this economy. Our unemployment is almost 3% below the national average. It's well below the state average. We downsized the payroll because we were out of money. We're 10% smaller today than we were 6 years ago. We consolidated row offices. We consolidated 911s, and we invested in brownfields. So now we have Westinghouse expanding, Dick's Sporting Goods expanding, American Eagle expanding, Allegheny Ludlam, U.S. Steel expanding. Our casino's open. Philly's still struggling where to put theirs. We tied it to a new arena that's going to open in August. And the reason I give you that story, this race is about jobs and the economy. Yeah. It's about how we're going to turn the state around. I'm the only candidate in this race that has a track record as a single executive running a very large government in tough economic times. And it's a good turnaround story. And I'm prepared to tell the story all over the state. I do it every day. I do it every week. And I'm excited about bringing what we've learned here to the entire Commonwealth. But I'm sitting here today talking to the Stonewall Democrats. And I'm proud of my track record. And I want to talk about a few issues that are very important to the people in this room. Because I did fill out that questionnaire. I did get a lot of attacks because of a malfunction, not on my part, on saying that I didn't answer questions. I answered them. Not only did I answer them, I want to remind anybody in this room, do you remember being on the north side last year? I came down there with Amanda Green. I took a lot of heat after I said a few words, but I knew what we had to do. Amanda and I left that meeting, we sat down, and we talked about anti-discrimination language for the county. And if you don't think that was a big lift, there's only 3 counties in the state that have it. Philadelphia, Erie, and now Allegheny County. And we have it because Amanda Green and a lot of people were willing to put this bill forward. And then what happened was it went from 11 sponsors down to 4 once the public hearing started. And then that's when I jumped into the game too. I sat down with Amanda, Rich Fitzgerald, who's here, and we strategized. I said, I think there's a way we can get the 8 votes. But we're going to have to really work together and make some changes to the bill the way it's currently written. I thought we can get 10 votes. I was wrong. But we did get 8. It passed 8-7. And it has my signature. And today, Allegheny County has an anti-discrimination bill where we don't discriminate based on sexual orientation or gender identity. And in your questionnaire, I want you to know that I made it very clear as governor, I will push for an anti-discrimination bill for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that makes it very clear we don't discriminate based on sexual orientation or gender identity. We don't have that in Pennsylvania right now, but we'll get that. And I'm convinced that somebody from the West can push this. And bring some of the votes that we don't have right now, kicking and screaming to where we need to be to show the world that we're open for business. I also made it clear that I support civil unions and domestic partnership law. I also released my crime bill in Philadelphia last week, and in that bill, you can go to my webpage and read it, I made it very clear that I would amend the hate crimes bill and make sure the hate crimes bill also has language in there. It talks about sexual orientation and gender identity. I also talk about LGBT community being part of state government. And I want you to know I have several members of the LGBT community on my staff right now in Philadelphia and in Pittsburgh. And if I'm governor and fortunate enough to win this race, everybody, including the people in this room, are going to have a seat at the table in state government. We're going to make sure we're the most diverse administration that this state has ever seen. And yes, I know that there's some support in this room against my colleague, but I'm going to defend myself a little bit here. Montgomery County doesn't have an anti-discrimination bill. And I know that somebody wants us to talk about what we don't have here. But we're going to put all the cards on the table, and I'm ready to have this debate. And I see Hugh McGuff's over here, who's one of the 7 members that I appointed to the Human Relations Commission that Allegheny County now has.
Yeah.
And I made a comment last week at an event in Philadelphia, but I want to make it here, because once again, my comment got totally distorted by some bloggers. So you're going to hear from me right here. If you have any questions, you can ask me right here. I hate rumors. I'm here today to answer your questions. The question came up, why don't you have domestic partnerships benefits in Allegheny County right now? Because we don't have them yet. And what I said there, I said, you know, we just got the anti-discrimination bill passed in Allegheny County. We're getting the HRC up and running. I just appointed all the members. I don't even know if they had 3 or 4 meetings yet. How many meetings do we have so far, the HRC?
We have had 3 initial formative meetings. We don't even have operating procedures
Right.
yet.
So they're getting up and running. And I thought one of the things we could do is have the domestic partnership discussion go to the HRC to look at it, because we have 2 issues legally at the county. One is 95% of my employees are covered by union contracts, and we have to deal with the union contracts. The other part can be handled through executive order. I get what we're allowed to do and what the legal way of getting there, but I'd much rather deal with this issue comprehensively for all the employees instead of just 10% or 5% of the employees. And we'll go down that path as the HRC gets a chance to look at it. But I'm here to answer any questions you might have for me. I'm proud of what we've accomplished so far, and I'm convinced that I can win this primary, and that I'm ready to take on Tom Corbett. Tom Corbett's from Allegheny County. I know Tom as well as anybody, and I'm going to beat Tom Corbett in Allegheny County, and then we're going to take it to southeastern Pennsylvania. Tom Corbett ran so far to the right in the last 3 weeks, he's not going to sell in the southeast of the state. 1, he stood up and said if he was governor, he wouldn't take a penny of stimulus money. That's outrageous. That's absolutely outrageous. He also signed an anti-tax, anti-revenue pledge that he won't even take increased revenues if the economy turns around. He's going to cut taxes instead. And yet we got a $4 billion deficit facing the next governor. And finally, I am so glad he sued to stop health care. I am so glad, because he showed his true colors, but he also showed who's controlling that campaign. It's the National Far-Right Committee, Tea Parties, because I will tell you, I run the 2nd largest county, and in my 6 years, health care costs for Allegheny County went from $35 million to $65 million in 6 years. That's $30 million I don't put into the parks, I don't put into paving, I don't put into bridges. That's every year, and I put it up for bid. UPMC, Highmark, United. You know, they all came in at the exact same price, within $50,000, you thought it was $65 million. There is no competition. So Congressman Doyle, thank you. You guys are on the right side of history. You did the right thing, and we need to. So thank you, everyone.
Do we have any questions for Dan Onorato? You?
Dan, I just wanted to point out that Latasha Mays, whom you also appointed to the commission, is here. She's the vice chair of the commission.
Latasha, thank you, Latasha.
Quickly, because we don't have much time. Go ahead.
And we will have a first draft of operating procedures for the commission from the County Law Department and Human Resources Department by mid-April.
Mid-April. Wonderful, Hugh. Thank you so much. One more question?
Yeah, would you support repeal of the Defense of Marriage Act on the state level?
Yes, and I want to make something clear. If I'm governor and somebody tries to amend the Constitution to take rights away from people, you can be assured I will veto that so fast. I would never amend the Constitution to hurt anybody. That is an unbelievable position. Again, a far-right position that does nothing but tries to pit us against each other to get votes. So I'll do what...
so you would support publicly repeal of the Defense of Marriage Act?
Is that, do we have it in Pennsylvania or the federal act? Sorry, Joe. If I understand the bill, you're saying that the bill right now is a Defense of Marriage Act in the state.
Yes.
So repealing it would, I don't know the whole history of that bill, I'll be honest with you, but
repealing it would allow gay marriage. Right now with it in there, it would allow us to go and pass gay marriage.
Right, that's right.
Now, as long as it's there, it's a block.
Yeah, and on the gay marriage issue, obviously I answered on several questionnaires. I didn't answer yes to that. I answered civil unions, and I would support civil unions, and I would support domestic partnerships. So I realized that we might not be in 100% agreement in this room, but...
All right, there's no need
That's
for
rude.
any sort of outburst like
That's
that. We are
rude.
pleased that all the candidates are here with us today, and we thank you.
Thank you very much.